Not just the mercy watchers, but everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Richard Ludwick, president at the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas. And I'm today in beautiful Napa, California, where I'm attending the Napa Institute's annual conference. And I'm excited today because I get a chance to talk with Tim Glemkowski. He's the executive director for the National Eucharistic Congress that will convene in Indianapolis, Indiana in July of 2024. Did I get it all right?
All right, that's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great to be with you.
So I am so psyched to hear what you have to say about the revival of the Eucharist within the American church, and especially the Congress in Indianapolis.
Sure. So I'm from Chicago originally, and I'm a member of the much maligned millennial generation, right? And so a lot of, those who grew up Catholic in my generation, but, there's a lot that are kind of abandoning religion, right? Or belief seems untenable or not reasonable. And so I think what we're living in is this moment where the church needs to be really good at proposing the gospel, right? And Jesus is the answer to the question and longing of every human heart. So we live in this missionary moment. And the question, for Bishop Cousins and the U.S. bishops and myself as I've been brought into this work is sort of like, how do we go on mission as a church? How are we going to be healed, formed, converted, unified so that we can be sent out on mission for the life of the world? And so this, kind of generational moment, this gathering in Indianapolis in 2024, God willing, 80,000, 100,000 people joining in Indianapolis around the source and summit of our faith.
Great.
We really see it in light of that kind of bigger mission.
So I love the word that you used was, I think, proposal, right?
Yeah.
And St. Pope John Paul II was very often saying that, right? I propose, you decide. And so this idea of the source and summit of the Eucharist, I think is a really important one for people to understand. So how will the National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis bring that to life for people? How will it really light that fire?
Yeah, so there's this 3-year revival, right? Where there's a diocesan year, engaging leaders and mobilizing them and helping us have our own personal encounter with Jesus and the Eucharist. And then a parish year where we really go to the pews and help people to have a renewed and rekindled relationship with Jesus and the Eucharist. Right. And then the 3rd year of the revival is this year of mission. And so the Congress comes right at the beginning of that as sort of like the launching point into mission there, right? And so we know, mission flows from identity, right? Like when I know who I am, I know what I'm supposed to do. And so as a church, we receive our identity from Jesus in the Eucharist, right? We know who we are in light of who he is.
Now, wait a minute, just a second, because there's so much made in the culture these days about identity.
I think the church receives her identity from Jesus. Is like
the Imago Dei, right?
Yeah. We know who we're the bride of Christ, right? And so he says, "You didn't choose me; I chose you," right?
Yes.
And so the Father sent Jesus, in order to bring his world back. And so Jesus sent his church to do the same thing. And so everything we do, every smell and bell and rosary and statue and doctrine, it all is about that mission ultimately and finally.
And the centrality of all of that really is Jesus' body and blood, right? The Eucharist itself.
Yeah.
So going back to the event in Indianapolis, right? Tell us what that is going to look and feel like a little bit.
We want this to be this revival that's happening in local churches across the country. We want this to be the place where that whole movement is gathered and there's sort of a visible expression of our love and devotion for Jesus, our unity as a church, and kind of what we're made for. And so I'm from Denver, Colorado, and Denver in many ways is the product of a very impactful event. We have a lot of gifts in our local church, and World Youth Day in 1993 left a really indelible mark on our local church. And we hope that this is a similar moment for Indianapolis where people encounter Christ powerfully, and then there's fruit that lasts for the people who come, for the people who join virtually, and for the city even of Indianapolis.
Yeah. So, that powerful moment, I remember when pundits and others said, nobody's going to show up to Mile High Stadium, right? Yeah. And Holy Father comes flying in, he could hear the plane vibrated from the noise from that stadium.
The goosebumps,
It's one of those things, and it's coming full circle because the site of the adoration in Indianapolis will be St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church. Pastor Rick Nagel, who's fabulous. Shout out to Pastor Father Rick. And he was one of those in Mile High Stadium.
No kidding.
Right? And that was a moment when his fire was lit, and it's still burning bright. I got to tell you. So this has the potential to do that for this church in America these days. And I'm just so excited about it.
Yeah, I think so. There's a, I keep thinking, as we do this work of sort of, bringing this event to life, this moment and gathering to life, I think about the vocations that will come from this, and the people who will meet Christ there and have their lives changed. Right? Pope Benedict XVI used to say, or he said in Deus Caritas Est, being Christian is not the result of an ethical choice or a lofty ideal. It's the fruit of an encounter with a person.
A relationship.
A relationship.
Right.
And the relationships that will be born at this event, like, it's one of those things. Yeah, the Father Rick Nagels of the world, like, that's the thing that really, like, convicts me so much about, I don't think we even realize what God's about to do for our country, for our church in Indianapolis.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want us to know about the Eucharistic Congress or the time leading up to it, or maybe that missionary year as we're sent forth from it?
Yeah, it's a big thing, right? It's a life with Christ is a wonderful adventure. John Paul, said, right? Philadelphia, 1976. We had a million people at a Eucharistic Congress there, and the keynote speakers were Mother Teresa and Cardinal Carol Wojtyla, right? And so this is a moment again for us as a church. It is a big thing, and it's a wonderful adventure to get to be part of watching something so amazing come to life. But we as a church in the United States, we're used to doing and daring great things for God. So I'm really excited for it.
So we need to continue that great tradition of salvation history.
Yeah, keep me in prayer. I'd throw that out there.
Amen.
If there's a camera, and I can
do that.
Yeah. Keep me in prayer.
So thanks so much, Tim. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've done a great
it's good to be
job.
with you.
I'm looking forward to it. So
Yeah,
I'll
thanks.
be with you in Indy.
Looking forward to it. Yeah,
All right.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.